The auction house stank of recycled air and broken dreams. Silas Trent pushed through the crowd of scavengers and small-time traders, his credits burning a hole in his pocket. Most of the ships on the block were too expensive or too damaged, but Lot 47 caught his eye, a decommissioned Concord patrol vessel, 30 years old and scarred by service. "She's got good bones," the auctioneer called out, but Silas could see the truth. Hull patches, outdated systems, and a price tag that screamed desperation. Perfect for a freelance cargo runner with more ambition than sense. 3 hours later, he was signing the transfer papers. The ship was his, all 100 meters of battered metal and dying circuits. He'd named her Wanderer's Rest before the ink dried. The first night aboard was spent cataloging problems. Faulty environmental controls, a navigation system that hiccuped every 10 minutes, and sleeping quarters that smelled like industrial solvent. But she was his, and that meant freedom from corporate contracts and station politics. On the second night, running diagnostics in the dim corridor lights, Silas heard it, soft, rhythmic breathing from behind a sealed bulkhead in the aft cargo bay. His hand hovered over the override panel. Ships this old had their secrets, but breathing wasn't supposed to be one of them. The lock disengaged with a mechanical whisper. Inside, huddled under a thermal tarp, was a woman unlike any he'd seen. Her skin was pale purple, almost luminescent in the emergency lighting, with dark curly hair framing delicate features. She clutched a small child to her chest, both of them trembling. Viridian. He recognized the species from the news feeds, recently declared non-cooperative by the interstellar Concord, stripped of asylum rights, branded enemies of the state. Her large, dark eyes met his, full of terror and defiance. She didn't beg. She didn't plead. She simply shifted her body between Silas and the child, expecting the worst. But Silas saw something else, a mother protecting her young, both of them sick and desperate. The child's breathing was labored, skin flushed with fever. "You've got 10 seconds to tell me what this kid needs," he said softly, his decision already made. "Then I'll start the engines." Her eyes widened in disbelief, hope flickering like a candle in darkness. "Kes," Yalari whispered, her voice melodic despite the fear. "My son. He has the burning sickness, your people call it fever." Silas knelt beside them, noting the child's flushed skin and rapid breathing. "I've got medical supplies. Basic stuff, but it might help." He kept his movements slow, non-threatening. "What's your name?" "Yalari of the Moonstone clan." She watched him carefully as he retrieved the medkit. "You should turn us in. The bounty would buy you a better ship." "Maybe," Silas said, running a scanner over the boy. "But I've never been good at following orders." The readings showed severe dehydration and infection. "He needs antibiotics and fluids." "Can he take human medicine?" "Our biologies are compatible." She hesitated. "Why are you helping us?" Silas prepared an injection, his hands steady despite the situation. "Because you're a mother with a sick kid, and I'm not a monster." He met her eyes. "This might sting." As he administered the medicine, Yalari's hand brushed his, cool skin, surprisingly soft. The touch sent an unexpected warmth through him. "Thank you," she said, the words heavy with meaning. Over the next few hours, they worked together in careful silence. Silas rerouted the ship's course away from major shipping lanes while Yalari tended to Kes. When the boy's fever finally broke, she wept quietly, tears of relief that looked like liquid starlight. "My clan lived on Viridian Prime for 3 generations," she said later, sharing a meal of protein bars and recycled water. "We were artists, musicians, storytellers. The Concord said we were harboring rebels, but we only wanted peace." "What happened?" Silas asked, though he suspected he knew. "Orbital bombardment. 3 minutes of fire, then silence." Her voice remained steady, but her hands trembled. "I grabbed Kes and ran to the spaceport. This ship was in the repair bay, I thought it was empty. How long have you been hiding? 23 days. Silas did the math. She'd been living on emergency rations and hope, keeping a sick child alive through sheer determination. You did good, he said. Both of you are fighters. For the first time, Yolari smiled, a hesitant thing that transformed her face. In my language, we say, the stars guide the worthy. Perhaps they guided me to you. Their fingers touched again as he passed her more food, and this time, neither pulled away. 5 days into their journey through the outer rim, the Wanderer's Rest had become something Silas never expected, a home. Kes was fully recovered, his natural curiosity filling the ship with laughter as he explored every corner under his mother's watchful eye. He's never seen a human ship before, Yolari explained, watching her son examine the navigation console with wide eyes. Everything is so angular compared to our designs. What were your ships like? Silas asked, genuinely curious. Curved, flowing, grown rather than built. We shaped living coral into spacecraft over decades. Sadness flickered across her features. All gone now. They were sitting in the small galley, sharing dinner while Kes played with improvised toys. The boy had taken to Silas immediately, chattering in his musical language and laughing at the human's clumsy attempts to respond. He likes you, Yolari said. Viridian children are usually shy with strangers. He's a good kid. Smart, like his mother. Silas watched her reaction to the compliment, noting the subtle darkening of her purple skin, a blush, he realized. You're kind to say so. She stood to clear their plates, and he caught her hand gently. I mean it. You're both remarkable. The moment stretched between them, electric with possibility. Her skin was warm now, her fingers intertwining with his. Silas, Mama. Kessa's excited voice broke the spell. He was pointing out the viewport at a passing nebula, its colors swirling like cosmic paint. They moved to the observation deck, standing close as they watched the stellar phenomenon. Kes had fallen asleep in Silas's arms, trusting and peaceful. He's never had a father figure, Yolari said quietly. His sire died in the first wave of attacks. I'm sorry. Don't be. He was a good male, but we weren't bonded. Our relationship was practical. She looked up at Silas. This is different. How so? Instead of answering, she rose on her toes and kissed him, soft, tentative, tasting of starlight and possibility. When they parted, her eyes were bright with unshed tears. Among my people, we believe that souls recognize each other across species, across worlds. I think mine recognizes yours. Silas pulled her closer, careful not to wake the sleeping child. Then we're in trouble, because I'm falling for both of you. Her laugh was like music. Good trouble. The best kind. The Concord patrol ship dropped out of hyperspace without warning, its sleek hull bristling with weapons. Silas cursed under his breath as the comm crackled to life. Unidentified vessel, this is Captain Torres of the CNS Retribution. Prepare for standard inspection. Copy that, Retribution, Silas replied, his voice steady despite the hammering of his heart. Standing by. Yolari was already moving, scooping up Kes and their few possessions. The hidden compartment. Too small for both of you. His mind raced. Environmental maintenance shaft, Section 12. It's shielded from most scanners. She nodded, fear tight around her eyes. If they find us. They won't. He cupped her face briefly. I promise. The inspection took forever. 2 officers in pristine uniforms swept through the ship while Silas maintained casual conversation about cargo manifests and maintenance schedules. Every second felt like an eternity. You're running pretty light on supplies, one officer noted, checking the galley. Long haul to Kepler Station. Stocking up when I get there. A medical scanner beeped in the corridor. Silas's blood froze, residual traces of the alien medicine he'd used on Kess. But the officer simply noted it and moved on. Clean ship, Captain Trent. Safe travels. The patrol ship was gone within minutes, but Silas waited a full hour before calling the all clear. When Yulari emerged from the shaft, she was shaking uncontrollably. I thought, when they scanned, she couldn't finish the sentence. Hey, it's okay. He wrapped his arms around her. They're gone. We're safe. But the dam had burst. All the fear and stress of the past weeks poured out in racking sobs. Silas held her through it, murmuring reassurances while Kess slept nearby, exhausted from hours of forced silence. I can't keep living like this, she whispered against his chest. The fear, the hiding. You won't have to. I know a place, a colony that doesn't ask questions. We can start over. She looked up at him, hope and vulnerability warring in her expression. If you'll have me. He stroked her hair. I know this is fast, but I love you. Both of you. Her answer was another kiss, deeper this time, full of need and desperate gratitude. When they broke apart, her breathing was ragged. In my culture, we don't separate physical and emotional bonding, she said, her hands tracing his face. If we do this, it means something. It means something to me too. She led him to her makeshift bed, her movements graceful despite her earlier breakdown. As they made love, slowly and tenderly, Silas understood what she meant. This wasn't just physical, it was a joining of souls, a promise of forever. Afterward, wrapped in each other's arms, she whispered words in her own language. What does that mean? My heart chooses you, across all the stars. Haven Colony clung to the edge of civilized space like a barnacle on a ship's hull, rough, diverse, and stubbornly independent. Perfect for those who needed to disappear. Jacob's an old friend, Silas explained as they approached the settlement. He runs a trading post here. Doesn't ask questions about the past. The colony was a patchwork of prefab buildings and improvised structures, housing refugees from a dozen different worlds. Yulari watched through the viewport as children of various species played in the dusty streets. Kess will have friends here, she said, wonder in her voice. Real friends. Jacob Weiss was a grizzled man with kind eyes and a talent for creative paperwork. Within hours, Yulari and Kess had new identities, recent immigrants from the Tau Ceti system, their records clean and verifiable. You're taking a risk, Jacob told Silas privately. The Concord has long memories. Some things are worth the risk. That night, in their small but comfortable quarters, Silas watched Yulari put Kess to bed. The boy was excited about starting school, about meeting other children, about the normal life he'd never known. You've given us everything, she said later, curled against Silas's side. Freedom, safety, a future. You've given me something too. He kissed her temple. A family. I never knew I wanted that until I found you. So what now? We stay here forever. For now. Eventually, maybe we'll move on, see what else is out there. But together. He pulled back to look at her. I want to make this official. Human marriage, viridian bonding, whatever it takes. Her smile was radiant. Yes. To all of it. 6 months later, their small trading business was thriving. Silas ran cargo between the outer colonies while Yulari managed their growing network of contacts. Kess had adapted to his new life with the resilience of childhood, his laughter echoing through their home daily. Remember when you said your soul recognized mine? Silas asked one evening as they watched Kess play with a group of multi-species children in the compound's central courtyard. Yulari hummed, her head resting on his shoulder. I was right, wasn't I? Yeah. You were. He tightened his arms around her. Think he'll remember any of this? The running, the hiding. Children are resilient. He'll remember the love, the safety you gave us. That's what matters. As if summoned by their words, Kes ran over, his face bright with joy. Papa, come see. The Altarian girl taught me a new game. Silas's heart swelled at the title. Coming, buddy. Later, as they tucked their son into bed, Yalari caught Silas's hand. Thank you, she said. For seeing us as more than refugees. For seeing us as family. Always, he replied, and meant it with every fiber of his being. Outside their window, the stars wheeled overhead, the same stars that had guided them to each other, now watching over their new beginning.